当全球还在争论 AI 是否会颠覆世界秩序时，美国总统川普已经凭借商人的直觉，打破华府的犹豫与僵化，成为推动美国巩固 AI 主导地位的行动派。他不讳言自己对晶片制造与算力技术并不熟悉，也坦诚曾经错估 NVIDIA 在全球 AI 竞赛中的垄断优势。然而，就是这种务实面对市场误判的商人性格，让川普能快速调整战略，重新布局。
In the global fight to dominate AI, China is quickly catching up to the United States, which is why President Trump barred the tech giant NVIDIA from selling its super-powered computer chips to Chinese companies. Until, that is, a few days ago, when Trump abruptly reversed course.
And a very special thanks to some of the top industry leaders here, including somebody that's amazing. I said, look, we'll break this guy up. This is before I learned the facts of life. I said, we'll break him up. They said, no, sir, it's very hard. I said, why? I said, what percentages of the market does he have? Sir, he has 100%. I said, who the hell is he? What's his name? His name is Jensen Huang, NVIDIA. I said, what the hell is NVIDIA? I've never heard of it before. He said, you don't want to know about it, sir. I figured we could go in and we could sort of break him up a little bit, get him a little competition. And I found out it's not easy in that business. I said, supposing we put the greatest minds together and they work hand in hand for a couple of years. He said, no, it would take at least 10 years to catch him if he ran NVIDIA totally incompetently from now on.
New tonight, the Trump administration released an action plan to win the global artificial intelligence race. It includes potentially loosening laws that combat climate change in order to build AI data centers faster.
As we gather this afternoon, we're still in the earliest days of one of the most important technological revolutions in the history of the world. Around the globe, everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. I find that too. Artificial, I can't stand it. I don't even like the name. You know, I don't like anything that's artificial. So could we straighten that out, please? We should change the name. I actually mean that. I don't like the name artificial anything, because it's not artificial. It's genius. It's pure genius. And its potential to transform every type of human endeavor and domain of human knowledge, from medicine to manufacturing to warfare and national defense. Whether we like it or not, we're suddenly engaged in a fast-paced competition to build and define this groundbreaking technology that will determine so much about the future of civilization itself. America is the country that started the AI race, and as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it. Because we will not allow any foreign nation to beat us. Our children will not live on a planet controlled by the algorithms of the adversaries advancing values and interests contrary to our own. So from this day forward, it'll be a policy of the United States to do whatever it takes to lead the world in artificial intelligence. Such an important thing happening. This is really something that nobody expected. It just popped out of the air, and here we are.
根据最新数据，截至2025年第二季度 ，NVIDIA 在全球 AI 训练晶片市场的市占率超过90%。无论在超级电脑、资料中心，还是 AI 模型运算的核心供应链中， NVIDIA 的 GPU 与CUDA 的生态系都已成为无可取代的产业标准。产业分析师普遍认为，即便竞争对手获得庞大资金与政策支持，想要缩短与 NVIDIA 的技术差距，至少还需要5至10年的深度投入。面对这场时间与资源的双重竞速，川普深知，谁能掌握核心资源与供应链自主权，谁就能主导下一个世代的全球秩序。因此，他果断宣布启动人工智慧行动计划，誓言打造一条从半导体、算力到能源供应全方位不受外力干扰的国家级基础建设。然而，这场国策级的 AI 重塑工程也预示着全球市场与产业格局将迎来新一轮的激烈动荡。
the United States President has just signed off on an AI action plan. The action plan, which was followed by a host of executive orders, is based on 3 pillars to challenge China in the AI race. The 3 pillars are accelerating innovation, building AI infra, and leading the international diplomacy and security space. We take a look. The Trump administration's AI roadmap aims to loosen environmental rules and vastly expand AI exports to its allies. It's almost as if there's a regulation-deregulation loop around AI happening in the world. While the US wants to loosen norms, the EU wants to strictly regulate them. And China? Well, it's building very aggressively. The US plan includes about 90 recommendations that call for the export of US AI software and hardware to other countries and cracking down on state laws that are too restrictive. This is a complete 180-degree turn from Joe Biden's high fence on AI. The previous president had imposed restrictions on US exports of AI chips, something that Trump had reversed on his very first day in office.
We can't stop it. We can't stop it with politics. We can't stop it with foolish rules and even stupid rules. At the same time, we want to have rules, but they have to be smart.
Data centers to help power artificial intelligence are popping up all over Central Texas. According to Baxtel, a platform that tracks data centers, there are 52 in Austin alone.
We've already seen a dramatic expansion of data centers here in Central Texas.
UTAI professor Kenneth Freischman says with the Trump administration's new AI action plan, which includes expediting permits to build data centers faster, Texas will likely see an even larger increase.
So the expansion of data centers in Central Texas brings a lot of opportunities in terms of economic development, job growth, generally good for the economy of the region.
At the same time, these facilities need a lot of energy to operate. Even before the president's announcement, ERCOT, the state's grid operator, predicted electricity demands will double by 2031, partially due to these facilities. President Trump's new plan could loosen clean air and water protection laws to help speed up the building process.
A new intelligence is driving the world. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is transforming societies, revolutionizing industries, reshaping economies, and redefining how people think and act. And while the AI race has typically been framed as one amongst tech giants or between superpowers like the US and China, India is slowly but surely joining the AI race. It's ranked 4th in Stanford's AI Vibrancy Index, a measure of a country's level of AI activity, development, and impact. India is betting on artificial intelligence to bring about real revolution. Last January, the country launched the AI for India 2030 initiative to drive development and adoption nationwide. In March of 2024, the government approved $1.25 billion in investments for artificial intelligence projects as part of the India AI Mission initiative. According to Deloitte, over 8 in 10 Indian companies are looking to adopt autonomous agents. These are AI systems that can operate without human intervention. Among the young, the fervor is even greater. In one survey, over 9 in 10 Indian students and 8 in 10 employees use generative AI, the most among Asia-Pacific countries studied. Where India lags is in AI independence. The country does not have any notable foundational AI model to call its own, instead relying on those built by others. A foundational model is a large, general-purpose machine learning model trained on massive data sets. It can then be used for a wide range of downstream tasks. Large language models, such as GPT-4, are examples of foundational models.
We want to use these foundational models for strategic applications, including the defense or any other strategic application that you want to use it. So when we do not know the source of data, what goes into the model, we cannot take those models into the strategic applications. So from the strategic application point of view, in my view, right, we must build our own foundational model.
这场由川普亲自官宣， 正是拉开的 AI 新赛道。它不需要精通技术，它只需要看准胜负的核心在于资金、资源以及掌握全球话语权的节奏感。审视这场 AI 行动计划的战略布局，目前川普最迫切需要的4大支援体系是：第一，算力基建与能源配套，这部分涵盖数据中心建设以及核能与绿能电网的全面扩张；第二是稀土与关键原料，特别是军工级稀土磁铁与 AI 伺服器晶片所需的基础材料；第三是法规松绑与资金杠杆，透过降低监管成本，并向日本、韩国等盟友筹组 AI 基建基金，以快速集结资源；最后是人才与技术快速整合，将美国矽谷、欧洲、以色列等地的 AI 专家与研发团队有效纳入美国行动计划的核心架构。这些支援体系中，川普目前真正掌握在手的是资金杠杆与法规松绑的主导权，但在原料供应与能源支撑方面，他仍仰赖中国与盟邦的配合。川普非常清楚，这场比拼的是国家实力，而不是情绪角力，所以他不会与中国撕破脸，反而会选择保持一种进可攻、退可守的距离。
The way I like to think about this new AI blueprint is it's a pretty significant pivot, if not reversal, from what we've seen in previous administrations, certainly the Biden administration, right, which is all about denying China. Now we've gone from deny to trying to dominate or trying to continue to dominate. I get that, right? But this whole idea of keeping them addicted to the U.S. stack and U.S. products, including H20 chips, et cetera, isn't that going to just make it easier for them to get to parity and to do that faster as well? Because, even if the H20 is not, the best chip that we've got, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, et cetera, these guys are experts at reverse engineering, and, sooner or later they're going to figure it out.
The Chinese have put a lot of effort into trying to reverse engineer chips. At one point, they were even using saws to cut them in half so they could see what it looked like under a microscope. Didn't work. I'm not so worried about reverse engineering. Where you've got a problem is China's essentially a peer. Think of all the places they live in now, like EVs, hypersonic missiles, robotics. China's a peer competitor, and I think this is why you hear the word dominance. There's a little bit of anxiety there. But a lot of the effort here is to say the U.S. has the lead. We need to encourage the innovation processes, the industries that gave us that lead, and make sure they stay strong. So it's a different kind of race, and that's actually a very positive. I give credit to people like Kratsios, the science advisor, Sachs, who you had on the show. They realized that we're in a different kind of ballgame.
If you look at developments over the past year, Huawei has advanced very rapidly. They have a new technology called Cloud Matrix, which networks together 384 of their Huawei Ascend chips. Now, the Huawei chip is not as good as the NVIDIA chip. The NVIDIA chip is 3 times more powerful, but if you network together enough of those chips, you can brute force your way to a similar kind of result. And that is what Huawei has been developing, is this Cloud Matrix 384. And there have been reports, including from Bloomberg, that they've started exporting that technology, or they've been seeking to export it. So Huawei is becoming much more competitive. And if you give the whole Chinese market to Huawei, it's a huge subsidy for their R&D, right? And it basically forces Chinese companies that might be willing to use the H20 to use the Huawei chip and to basically figure out the bugs, work out the kinks of the Cloud Matrix system, and help Huawei scale that up. So I think there is a compelling argument here that you just don't want to hand Huawei the entire Chinese market when NVIDIA is capable of competing for a big slice of it with a deprecated, less capable chip. Again, we're not selling our latest, greatest chips to China, but we can deprive Huawei of basically having this giant market share in China that they can then use to scale up and compete with us globally. So I think this policy is nuanced, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
就在7月23日，川普高调宣示美国将夺回 AI 竞赛的全球领导地位后，仅隔3天，在上海举办的世界人工智能大会就成为北京回应川普 AI 国策的战略舞台。北京当局在大会上发布全球人工智慧治理行动计划， 并倡议成立世界人工智能合作组织，意图在国际 AI 治理架构中挑战美国单边主导的格局，争夺全球规则制定的话语权。从产业实力的展示来看，中国此次集结超过800家企业，展出超过3000项 AI 技术与产品，同时联合成立 Model Chip 生态联盟，积极推动自主可控的 AI 标准体系，展现出其巩固供应链与扩张产业影响力的决心。相较于川普以企业家直觉推动的爆发式 AI 行动计划，习近平的 AI 中国梦更像是一场深耕布局的耐力赛。在这场 AI 权力重塑的竞赛中，北京并不急于争夺短期胜负，而是着眼于全球产业主导权与标准制定权的长期掌控，确保中国不会在未来的科技秩序中被边缘化。
Robotics is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Leaps in AI and machine learning have driven up innovations in robotics. But it's the reinvention of robots as humanoids that's at the bleeding edge of where humanity is going with robots. At the World AI Conference in Shanghai, adaptive humanoids stole the limelight.
The 2025 World Artificial Intelligence Conference featured more than 150 fake humans with 60 distinct models from more than 80 companies. The futuristic display comes amid an intensifying technological arms race with the West, as the Trump White House dismantles regulatory barriers and rejects international oversight. The Chinese government is proposing a global alliance to control artificial intelligence. In the rush toward superintelligence, Beijing wants the global south to train next-gen machines on its terms, not Silicon Valley's. China's message is clear. If you don't trust Washington, come to Shanghai. The People's Republic is treating humanoids as a core pillar of its national AI strategy, setting out to own the global market by 2027. They view robots, like the ones on display in China's most populous city, as the future of everything.
Unitree, the Chinese company known for its G1 humanoid and those fast AI robot dogs, just launched a full-size humanoid robot called the R1. And it comes in at just $5,900, which is unheard of for a humanoid. Not 5 figures, not research-only access. This thing is actually available for regular people. You can just go online and order it. Now let's start with what this robot actually does. The R1 isn't some flimsy demo bot that barely moves unless it's plugged into a lab wall. It walks, runs, balances, does cartwheels, flips onto its hands, and even throws in a kung fu kick if you ask nicely. And no, it's not controlled with complex scripts or hard coding. It uses real-time AI-powered voice recognition, has built-in cameras for visual input, and can hold basic conversations. There's even a remote control, so if it starts acting weird or a little too confident, you can shut it down instantly.
This is the biggest event for AI in China this year, so it's also a really big opportunity for companies to show off their AI innovations. But as you said, humanoid robots are a very key focus, and we're actually in Unitree's ring. This is one of the most promising robotics companies in China. But just take a look at what's happening here, because this is a robot boxing match that's just got underway. So this has been happening all weekend. All sorts of different robots that are getting in the ring. We've got Green Helmet here against Black Helmet. Yesterday I had my money on Green Helmet, but today I'm not sure who's going to really win out of this. The point is, though, is that yes, this maybe looks like it's just entertainment, and of course there is that sort of blending of tech and entertainment, but it's an important revenue stream for these companies as well, because they're very much focused on commercialization. We just spoke with Tim Wong, for instance, from Monolith Management, talking about how there actually might end up being a need for consolidation in the humanoid robots industry as well, just given that you've got so many companies that are in this space. But again, I mean, this is certainly a huge attraction for the crowds here.
美中 AI 竞赛已经不只是技术与产业的较量，而是一场节奏与结构的对决。川普压住用商战手法与资源杠杆在短期内打破僵局，他的 AI 行动计划必须在3年内见到具体成效，否则将被美国内部政治与国际舆论反噬。习近平则以制度稳定性与时间复利为战略依靠，对冲川普这类短周期领导人所带来的急迫节奏。7月28日刚落幕的斯德哥尔摩会谈， 不难推论，就是这场节奏与结构竞争的第一场交锋。在这场 AI 之争，美中双方走的是完全不同的路线，但双方都明白，这不仅是一场科技与经贸的竞赛，更是两种国力节奏与国家战略视野的正面对决。